there, history buffs! Welcome to The Past Was a Blast, the channel where we step into our time machine and travel to the quirkiest and most fascinating parts of our history. Today's topic is all about language, specifically forgotten slang that once ruled the streets, taverns, and dance floors of past eras. Language is like a time capsule. It reflects the culture, trends, and attitudes of its time. Slang in particular often springs up from specific subcultures or social contexts. But just like fashion or music, some words or phrases don't make it to the next generation. So buckle up for a fun ride through centuries of slang that'll have you saying, "Wow, the past really was a blast." Let's kick things off before the 1800s, a time when powdered wigs were in style, taverns were bustling, and slang was as colorful as the era itself. Here are some gems from the 18th century that you might not have heard before. Fiddlesticks, an exclamation used to express anger, joy, or frustration. This term was a polite way to express dismay without resorting to stronger language. Imagine saying, "Oh fiddlesticks, I forgot my keys." A good voice to beg bacon. A rather brutal way of saying someone isn't talented enough for their ambitions. Similar to today's "don't quit your day job." This phrase likely originated from the idea that even a beggar needs a good voice to plead effectively. Mall buzzer. A pickpocket or accomplice who preyed on unsuspecting victims in crowded areas. The term mall referred to a woman often associated with criminal activity. Abigail, a common term for a maid or female servant, derived from the biblical figure Abigail, who was known for her service and humility. Fart catcher, a cheeky term for a servant who walked directly behind their master, a rather crude job description highlighting the social hierarchy of the time. Powdering hair, a subtle tavern term meaning getting drunk. The act of powdering one's wig could be a lengthy process, so extending it may have been code for extra time at the tavern. Saucebox, a playful way to refer to someone's mouth. Suggesting that someone's mouth is full of sauce is a humorous way to call them cheeky or sassy. The slang from this era was bold and often hilariously rude. It's amazing how much personality shines through these phrases. You can practically hear the powdered wigs rustling with disapproval. Moving into the 19th century, slang started to reflect both the refinement of Victorian society and the ruggedness of life on the American frontier. Let's explore some gems from this era. Too high for his nut. A clever way of saying someone was acting above their station. This phrase suggests that someone has overestimated their own importance or capabilities. Wake snakes. Causing trouble or stirring up drama. Originating in the American West, this term paints a vivid picture of stirring up something dangerous. Bags o' mystery, a descriptive nickname for sausages, reflecting the Victorian era's often dubious food production practices. Cop a mouse, getting punched in the face and ending up with a black eye. The term mouse here refers to the swelling and discoloration around the eye. Don't sell me a dog, a polite way of saying don't lie to me. The origin of this phrase may be related to unscrupulous traders selling inferior goods. Giggle mug, someone who is always smiling, a charmingly old-fashioned way to describe someone cheerful. Cattywampus, askew or in disarray. This term of uncertain origin adds a touch of whimsy to describing something out of order. Imagine dropping one of these phrases into your next conversation. People might think you've stepped straight out of a Dickens novel. The early 20th century brought us prohibition, jazz music, and some truly fabulous slang. This era was all about breaking free from Victorian constraints and embracing a more carefree lifestyle. Let's take a look how people were talking during this glamorous era. Flivver, a term for an old or cheap car. With the rise of automobile ownership, there was a need to describe the less glamorous models. Duck soup, something easy or effortless. The exact origin is debated, but the phrase suggests something as simple as making duck soup. The cat's meow, something excellent or stylish. This phrase gained popularity in the early 1920s, epitomizing the era's enthusiasm for everything new and exciting. Hawkshaw, a slang term for a detective, possibly derived from a popular detective character of the time. Dead soldier, an empty beer bottle, reflecting the era's clandestine drinking culture during Prohibition. Glad rags, your best going out clothes, ready to hit the speakeasies and dance the night away. Juice joint, a tavern or saloon, another term born out of the Prohibition era, referring to places where illegal alcoholic beverages were served. This was also when people started using slang to sound cool or rebellious, something that would carry over into later decades. You can almost hear the rebellion in the language itself. As we leave the jazz age behind, the 1930s and 1940s brought their own unique flavor to the language. From the Great Depression to World War II, these decades were filled with resilience, creativity, and a whole lot of slang. Let's dive into some of the most colorful expressions from these eras. 1930s slang. Horn. The telephone was often called a horn. Imagine saying, "I'll give you a ring on the horn." It's a phrase that really toots its own horn. Giggle juice. Alcohol gained this playful nickname. It's easy to picture someone at a speakeasy saying, "Pass me some giggle juice." Cats, alligators. Fans of swing music were known as cats or alligators. These were the cool kids of the jazz scene. Broad, dame, doll. Women were often referred to with these terms, each carrying its own flair. Doll was especially endearing. Lowdown. If you wanted all the details, you'd have to ask for the lowdown. It's like saying, "Give me the tea," but 1930 style. Blow your wig. This meant to get excited or angry. Picture someone shouting, "Don't blow your wig over it." Slip me five. A friendly way to say shake hands. It's as smooth as a jazz riff. The 1930s slang was all about adding personality to everyday interactions. It was neat, jazzy, and full of life. 1940s slang. Then came the 1940s, an era shaped by World War II and a thriving home front culture. The slang from this period reflected both the hardships and camaraderie of the time. Take a powder. This meant to leave quickly, like saying, "I'm out of here." Perfect for a quick exit. Snap your cap. A phrase for getting angry or losing your temper. Someone might say, "Don't snap your cap over nothing." What's buzzing, cousin? A fun way of asking, "What's up?" It's as friendly as it gets. Gams, a term for legs, often used in admiration of women's fashion during this era. Joe. Coffee was affectionately called Joe. Soldiers on the front lines kept themselves going with a strong cup of Joe. Khaki wacky. This describes someone who is crazy about men in uniform, a fitting term for wartime romance. On the beam. If you were doing well or on track, you were said to be on the beam. It's like saying you're on point today. From wartime camaraderie to swing dance floors back home, 1940 slang captured both grit and glamour. It's amazing how much personality these phrases packed into everyday conversations. Whether you were blowing your wig or sipping on Joe, these decades had a way with words that still makes us smile today. Fast forward to the fabulous 50s, the golden age of rock and roll and teenage rebellion. This is when youth culture really started shaping language, with slang often reflecting a sense of coolness and defiance. Agitate the gravel, a fun way to say, let's get out of here, evoking the image of speeding off in a car, kicking up gravel. Backseat bingo, making on the backseat of a car, reflecting the era's burgeoning car culture and teenage romance. Cruising for a bruisin', looking for trouble, suggesting a reckless attitude and willingness to engage in conflict. Threads, your clothes or outfit. Borrowed from the jazz scene, this term was embraced by the youth culture of the 50s. The fuzz. The police, a term with origins possibly in the 1920s, but popularized in the 1950s as a rebellious way to refer to law enforcement. Cool cat, a hip person, reflecting the influence of jazz culture and beatniks on 1950s youth. Dig it, do you understand? A term popularized by beatniks and jazz musicians. The slang from this era feels so playful. It's like every phrase could be part of a song lyric. The 60s were all about peace, love, and breaking free from tradition. This decade saw the rise of counterculture, influencing language with terms that express freedom, individuality, and a rejection of mainstream values. Far out used to express amazement or admiration, reflecting the era's embrace of new experiences and altered states of consciousness. Groovy, something that was cool or fashionable. This term became synonymous with 60s counterculture. Foxy, a term used to describe someone attractive or charming, possibly derived from African American vernacular English. Dude, a casual greeting among friends. Originally used in the early 1900s to refer to city slickers, it gained new meaning in the 60s as a term of camaraderie. Pad, your home or apartment, suggesting a laid-back and communal lifestyle. Bread, money, reflecting a focus on financial independence. Gig, a job, often referred to musical performance or temporary work. These decades were all about freedom and individuality, a perfect fit for such an iconic decade. By the 70s, slang got even funkier, just like the fashion choices. The 70s were a time of experimentation, with slang reflecting a mix of disco culture, funk music, and a continued emphasis on individuality. Can you dig it? Meaning, do you understand? Popularized by blaxploitation films of the era. Give me some skin. The precursor to today's high five, a more elaborate and soulful way of greeting someone. Stop dipping in my Kool-Aid. To mind your own business, a humorous and assertive way to set boundaries. Catch you on the flip side. Goodbye, a phrase used when records needed to be flipped over. What's your damage? What's wrong? Often used in our sarcastic tone. Keep on truckin'. Move along, referring to life's journey and perseverance. Boogie, dance, popularized by disco music and dance culture. The 70s slang was bold and just plain fun. We've reached the 80s and 90s. These decades brought us everything from big hair to grunge bands, and their slang was just as iconic. The 80s were marked by materialism and over-the-top trends, while the 90s saw a shift towards grunge, alternative culture, and a more laid-back style. From the 1980s, rad used to describe something cool or awesome. Short for radical, it reflects the era's enthusiasm for anything extreme. Gnarly, originally from surfing and meant challenging or cool. This term gained mainstream popularity, especially among skateboarders and surfers. Bodacious, remarkable or impressive, often used to describe something outstanding or attractive. Gag me with a spoon, an expression of disgust or annoyance. Popularized by the film Valley Girl, it became a quintessential 80s phrase. Valley Girl, a stereotypical upper-class girl from Southern California. Barf me out! I can't believe it. It was a gross and obnoxious Valley Girl expression. Bitchin', great. It was an expression used to describe something really good. From the 1990s, as if, a dismissive phrase popularized by Clueless. This phrase perfectly captured the sassy and sarcastic tone of the 90s teen culture. Booyah! An expression of triumph or excitement, often used in sports or gaming contexts. Talk to the hand! A dismissive gesture. This phrase became a staple of teen dramas and reflected a growing sense of attitude. Fact: cool or excellent. Derived from African American vernacular English, this term was embraced by hip-hop culture and spread into mainstream use. Wig, to freak out, often used to express surprise or excitement. Da bomb, awesome, used to describe something very cool or excellent. All that in a bag of chips. Amazing, describing someone who is impressive. The attitude in these decades was unmatched, and so was their creativity with language. Now let's jump into the 2000s, a decade of flip phones, social media, and some truly iconic slang. This era saw the rise of internet culture, which heavily influenced how people communicated. Slang from the 2000s often originated online and spread rapidly through social media, instant messaging, and reality TV. Bling refers to anything shiny or flashy. Popularized by hip-hop culture, this term was all about showcasing wealth and style. Crunk, a term for having a wild time. Originating in Southern hip-hop, crunk described a high-energy and rowdy atmosphere. Sick, meaning something was cool or awesome, often used to express enthusiasm or admiration. Chillax, a combination of chill and relax, reflecting a desire for a laid-back and stress-free lifestyle. Dog, a friendly term for friends or buddies, often used as a casual greeting or term of endearment. Salty, bitter or angry, often referring to someone who's upset about something minor. Bail, to cancel plans, short for bailing out. It became a common term for ditching an event or appointment. These terms capture the playful, internet-driven culture of the 2000s. And now for a fun twist. While many of these terms have faded into obscurity, a few have managed to stick around or even experience a revival. Who knew slang could be so resilient? Slay. This term means to excel or do something exceptionally well, and it has made a major comeback and is still widely used today. Originating in African American vernacular English, it gained mainstream popularity through drag culture and social media. GOAT, greatest of all time. This acronym continues to be popular for describing something or someone as the best, often used in sports and entertainment contexts. Sick, Still used to describe something cool or awesome, this term proves that some slang just has staying power. Its continued use reflects a consistent desire to express enthusiasm. Extra. For those who are overly dramatic or attention-seeking, this term remains a popular descriptor, often used humorously to call out exaggerated behavior. Yas! This exclamation has seen a resurgence in popularity, expressing strong approval or excitement. Originating in drag culture, it's become a mainstream expression of enthusiasm. And that's a wrap! From powdered wigs to flip phones, slang has always been a living, breathing reflection of the times. It's fascinating to see how these words can transport us back in time and sometimes even come back to join us in the present. Thanks for joining me on this journey through forgotten slang. Don't forget to like and subscribe and drop me a comment. Tell me which slang term you think deserves another shot of popularity. Whether you're feeling groovy or just want to agitate the gravel, remember, the past truly was a blast. Thank you for watching.